All right.
Hello,
So
Erica. How are you doing today?
good. Good morning, Jim. How are you?
Not bad. I was talking to Mark, and we thought that the information about NoteTrack that we covered in the coffee break yesterday, it would be valuable to have it as a standalone recording that we can put on the website so that everybody can use it in their professional development. So that's why I've got you on the line here, and I'm hoping you can kind of go back through and show me some of the stuff you showed us yesterday, and we can get it online for all of our SAM teams to use.
Sure, why not? So one of the most important things that we talked about, well, first we talked about the fact that down here we have this like open note piece, which I also use to like highlight out the most important things that may be happening that week. But as you can see, I want to just take you through Monday. As you can see, we have curriculum planning here with Heather Burns, who's our Teachers College Readers and Writers Project consultant. And the most important thing that I can share with you here is that she's taken us, and I attend all of the meetings. She's talked about what she's going to be doing within that meeting with the kids, with the teachers. And I've associated it with, as you can see, a lot of people down here.
Mhm.
22 individuals actually were at the meeting. And this is really important because this is what she was going to do later on in the lab sites, which hold my teachers accountable to what they're learning so that I know what to expect. And as you can see, I said period 1 and 2, we reviewed the materials for teachers. Period 3 was an actual lab site with the following teachers, and we talked about the powerful paragraphs, and we looked at a student's notebook, we showed the sentence starters, and we debriefed it and so forth. And then period 5, we did the same lab site, but we used reading partnerships. And that was a big piece, the reading partnerships, because that's something that teachers do struggle with. So that was a concept that I was looking at later on with the teachers throughout the week. As you can see, we did another lab site in the afternoon, and it was a very simple one. We debriefed with the teachers. On Tuesday, I had my cabinet meeting, and in my cabinet meeting, as you can see, we talked a lot about different types of things. We talked instructional, we talked about the February Institute, we talked about our observations, our noticings, and what we needed to focus on with them. We talked about the issue with the teacher, we talked about bulletin boards and testing, and we also went into management issues as well. So it really is part instructional, part management when we talk about a cabinet meeting. And all of my notes from my cabinet are warehoused right here in this computer, in this program. I don't have any paper notebooks. We had a meeting later on with the Dynamic Learning Project, and we showed them, we took them on a little walkthrough. And again, it's an association with my technology coordinator here. Something that was really important, as you can see, I had a pre-observation conference with a teacher, and I mentioned here in my notes, we talked about the language objective, and I made sure to say, talk to Keisha Peralta, 2 other teachers, about this component. And this was really important because when I went over to do the observation, I looked for that component in her lesson plan, which I did indeed see. These are my notes from my lesson plan, from her observation. And as you can see, I've taken very copious notes, and I show where the teacher talks, where the students talk. And this is important because all I have to do is go like this, copy this, and then I can copy this, and I can literally paste it right into my observation as the evidence that I use for her observation. I've done the same thing here with Miss Jamie's notes, not this one, hold on. That was to type up the observation, but here in the actual notes, you can see how she actually asked a kid to take a seat. She asked what you're writing about. As you can see, she asked the facilitated the room. And as you can see, I addressed this with the teacher later on. The 2 girls at table 5 continually talked and they were not addressed. That was something that I needed to address with the teacher later on in her debrief. So I made a point of that. Now, something else that's really important is we all go to professional development. We all are held accountable to professional development. I have all day PD, professional development at Teachers College for principals meetings, and the superintendent will ask me, so what did I discuss? I have a running record right here of everything that went on at that meeting. And I can go back and I can tell them what happened at the 8 o'clock session, the 9 o'clock session, the 11 o'clock session, the 10 o'clock session, the lunch session that I attended afterwards. So there is a tremendous amount of information. If I wanted to, I can click on this little icon down here and I can print my notes, scan them, and I can actually send them to the superintendent if I want, or I can just copy and paste the notes, but I prefer to do it as an attachment for the superintendent if he's ever asked me for it. That's accountability that he holds me to and that I hold myself to.
Right, and I think that's a really good a good way that I don't think a lot of people really think about using NoteTrack. They see the part about where you're keeping your teachers and things accountable and notes for yourself, but it's also a great way to keep yourself accountable in case one of your supervisors comes back to you and asks you, well, what were you doing during this time? You not only have the notes that you took on the teacher and what was going on in the observation, the walkthroughs, but you also have the notes of what happened in the PD and what you were doing to help your teachers and to help your staff. I think that could be really valuable.
And I actually think, I don't remember where it is, but okay, so this was a student interview. No, this was not the one I was looking for. But I've actually met with a consultant and I've actually taken notes when I have a consultant coming in that I've met with. And this is just brief, but it's something that we needed to do and that needed to be addressed with a couple of teachers. I was looking for where I had my SAM notes, but at the SAM conference, I actually literally took notes at the SAM conference. I don't know where it is, but I took notes literally with the SAM conference so that if the superintendent had asked me, what did I learn at the SAM conference, I can actually go back and I can show him what I've done. This was another observation that I did with the science teacher over here. And as you can see, we really talked a lot about the science lesson and about the slope and the roots of the plant and everything. And this was a lab. And I really was able to highlight some of the things that she talked about, that the kids talked about. I would like to add on the bottom step of each terrace. I want to agree with Jaden, it's hard for erosion to occur. These are really important points within an observation that go to the whole engagement, student engagement, and the questioning and answering.
Right, right. One thing I know some of our principals and our users, our administrators might be wondering is about the privacy and the security of the information in the NoteTrack. I know some people might feel like that they need to hold back on what they're writing down because they're worried that someone else will see that. And I know that we've got a lot of safeguards built in to exactly who can see that. Now, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on those.
I'm the only one who can see my notes. I can share my calendar with my SAM, with my APs, but they can never see my notes that I've typed in. My notes are totally 100% private to me and to me only.
Right, and on top of that, that even includes people like me or Eric who have access to the back end of the software. He has built it in so that we can see that there is information there. We can see that you have a note on those times, but we cannot see the content of the note, and we don't know what it says. We just know, the date and the event, and it'll say there are notes associated with this event. It does not tell us what it actually says.
100% correct. You cannot see the notes. Nobody can see the notes except for myself, or unless I decide to share them with somebody.
Great, perfect.
So you can really, NoteTracker has totally changed my life. I do not use a paper calendar. I usually walk with an iPad or my iPad mini, and everything, because this calendar is web-based, I can pick it up on any electronic device that I decide to use. And my notes are there from one device to another. If I leave a device at school, I can go home and I can check on what did I do that day.
Right, perfect. Okay, so is there anything else you were hoping to share about NoteTrack, or do you think that pretty much is it, or?
I think that's pretty much it. I encourage everybody, just try one event. Try one event and see if it works for you. I would try it with an observation first and see how it's going to change your life.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time, Erica. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jim.